This video is on section 12.2, Measures of Central Tendency. You are probably familiar with the terms mean, median, and mode, and that's the main thing we're going to look at in this lesson. The mean, the median, and the mode all have to do with the middle of the data. So the mean, in parentheses here, we have x with this line on top that's called x bar. The mean of a set of quantitative data is the sum of the measurements divided by the number of measurements. In other words, it's the average. So to find the mean for this set, I just have to add all these numbers up and divide by the number of numbers. If I add all these numbers up, I get 150. There are 5 numbers here, which means the average or the mean of this set of data is 30. The formula is what we just did there. Now you may not be familiar with this symbol. This symbol is known as the summation. And what that means is we need to take the sum of all of the x's that follow this. In other words, sum all of these x's. Each one of these is considered an x because it's a data point. So all that symbol is telling you is to take the sum, which is what we did right there. Now, sometimes you have to be able to do the mean from a chart here. Now, this back here was pretty easy to get the mean. We had the numbers displayed right in front of us. We added them up. We divided by 5, and that was our mean. Now, when we're looking at this in a chart, this is telling us that the score 30 occurred 3 times. The score 33 occurred 4 times, etc. So I could do this by writing 30, 30, 30, 33, 33, etc., etc., and write all of this out. But if you add all this up, we're looking at there being 12 entries. I would have to write 12 things down and then add them up. So this right here is a shortcut to doing that. There's nothing wrong with this. Listing them out one at a time, add them up, divide by the number of numbers. But this formula tells me another way to do this. And it says take the sum of this x times f. Now what's x? X is whatever the score is, and f is its frequency. It's telling me to do xf, which means x times f. It is telling me to multiply the score times the frequency. 30 times 3 is 90. Now, what does that mean? That means if we had written 30 out 3 times and added it up, we would have gotten 90. So then do 33 times 4, which is 132. Do 4 times 40 is 160. Do 50 times 1 is 50, and then add all of those up. So that's what all of this symbol stuff is saying, is that we are going to multiply the score times its frequency. And the symbols might be a little confusing to you, so let's take a look at this in just regular words. 3 steps. Number 1, multiply each value, meaning each x value, by its frequency, like I did on the other screen. 30 times 3 is 90. 33 times 4 is 132. 40 times 4 is 160. 50 times 1 is 50. Then number 2 says add these values up. So all I have to do is add those up, which gives me 432. And the third thing is divide this number by the total frequencies. Look through here. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 4 is 11, plus 1 is 12. There are 12 frequencies. Because if I had continued this list here, there would have been 12 numbers written out. Then I just divide 432 divided by 12, which is 36. So that's how you want to do one of these problems, asking you to find the mean where the information is given to you in a frequency chart. The median is the middle of a group of data items, and that's easy to remember if you think about the median in a road is what runs down the middle of the road. So a couple steps here. You need to arrange the data items in order from smallest to largest. Sometimes the data comes to you in that order, but if not, the first thing you want to do is put these in order from small to large. So this is 61, 72, 79, 85, 93. And then we are looking for the middle number. If the number of data items is odd, then the median is the item in the middle of the list, like this, right smack in the middle is this. Now, in grade school, I'm betting your teachers taught you to do this, and there's nothing wrong with this either. I've seen grade school teachers teach cross off the 61, cross off the 93, cross off the 72, cross off the 85, and keep crossing off until you are left with one number in the middle, so the median is 79. The only problem with that method is if you've got a lot of numbers in a row, then doing all that crossing off takes time. Now the crossing off the front and the back works very well if there's an odd number of numbers. If there's an even number of numbers, we have to do something extra. We still have to put these in order from small to large. 61, 71, 79, 85, 87, 93. This has an even number of numbers. So what this says is if the number of the data items is even, average the two middle data numbers. So I could still do the cross off and I would be left with two numbers in the middle, and I need to take the average of those. To do this a little more quickly without having to do all this crossing off is to look at there are 6 data points. If you divide 6 by 2, gives me 3. So counting in from the left, 1, 2, 3. Counting from the right, 1, 2, 3. And there's the two that are side by side that I need to take the average of those two. This is 164 divided by 2, which is 82. Notice it is entirely possible for the median not to be one of your original data points. To find the median when you're looking at a frequency chart, one way to go is, like I told you with the mean, you could write these out. 30, 30, 30, 33, 33. And this is not a bad method unless you have a whole lot of numbers you would have to rewrite. I'm not saying this is the best way to go. I'm saying it is a way to go. We know from that previous screen there are 12 of these numbers. So if I count in half of 12, which is 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I do the average, of course, 33 and 33, well then it's going to be 33. So there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. What this is suggesting is that you use this little formula and it will tell you the position in which your median lies. So if I add up n refers to the number of frequencies, so 12 plus 1 is 13, divided by 2 is 6.5. Now what does that 6.5 mean? It means that our median is between the 6th number and the 7th number. So I can do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my 6th number. There's my 7th number. What number lies between 33 and 33? Well, of course, 33. The mode is the data value that occurs the most often. Think about mode, sounds a lot like most. So if no data items are repeated, then there is no mode. If more than one data value has the highest frequency, then each of these data values is the mode. And the data value is the mode, not the frequency. So let's take a look at it in this list here. I have 1, 2, 3 sevens. There are no other numbers that are repeated, so 7 is the mode, not 3. The mode of 7 occurs with a frequency of 3. Now looking over here, I have 2 3s, but I also have 2 2s. So this has 2 modes, a mode of 2, a mode of 3. You can write them down in whatever order you want. Finding the mode when you're looking at a frequency chart is very easy, and it's just a matter of looking at the frequencies. These both have frequency 4, therefore we have 2 modes of 33 and 40. Mid-range might be a word you didn't have when you did this way back in grade school. The mid-range is very easy. It is found by adding the lowest and the highest data values and then dividing the sum by 2. So in this case, my lowest data value is 30. My highest data value is 50. Add those up and divide by 2. 30 plus 50 is 80. Divided by 2 is 40. Now when you look at a list here, just be careful. It's not always the first here and the last number. It's got to be the smallest and the largest. So you might want to write them in order, or just look at this. 27 is the smallest and 87 is the largest. So 27 plus 87 divided by 2 equals 57. All right, this next problem is asking me to find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range from this histogram. Now, my suggestion is that you take the time to write down what the entries are. In other words, 10 has a frequency of 3. 20 has a frequency of 4. etc., which I'll show you on the next screen with the completed chart. So these are the numbers along the bottom. These are the numbers that correlate to the frequencies here. I just think it's easier if you have the chart in front of you than trying to do everything off of the graph. The only thing I would do off of the graph is the mode. That is really easy to get the mode off of the graph. Obviously 30 has the tallest column, therefore the mode is 30. So we've done that one. The mean, I need to use my formula from the first screen, and that is multiply x times 3, so that's 30. Multiply 20 times 4 is 80. 30 times 7 is 210. 40 times 4 is 160. And 50 times 3 is 150. And add all of those up and divide by the number of numbers. That is 630. My total number of frequencies, add these up. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 7 is 14, plus 4 is 18, plus 3 is 21. Divide that out, and we get a mean of 30. So the mean is 30. Now the median, I will do this from the standpoint of how many numbers are there. We figured out that there were 21 numbers. So 21 plus 1 is 22 divided by 2 tells me that the median occurs in the 11th position. The median is not 11, it occurs in the 11th position. The way to find the 11th position without having to write out a whole bunch and without having to do too much in your head is to do this little dot thing. Put 3 dots here, put 4 dots there, put 7 dots here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I may not have to do any more dots. And just count your dots. Count your dots until you land in the 11th position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. My 11th dot happens right here, and that goes with 30. So the median is 30. You could always write out all of these numbers if you want, but that's a whole lot of writing because there's 21 entries. You'd have to write out 21 different numbers. Also, because there are 21 numbers, that's an odd number of numbers. You know that the median is going to land on one particular position, specifically the 11th position. Now the mid-range is where we just have to add the low plus the high. 10 plus 50 divided by 2 is 60 divided by 2, which is 30. With this stem and leaf problem, we do need to list out each of the data points. Remember the 3 with the 3 there means 33, then 35, 38, and we do want to list them in order because we're going to have to do the median eventually. So with the 6, we're going to write 64 before we write 65, and then the 2 67s. And for 8, we'll go 80, 86. Now we'll find the mean. The mean is just a matter of adding all of this up and dividing by the number of numbers. This is 535. There are 9 data points. Divide by 9, and that gives us a mean of 59.4. That's our mean. Our mode is clear. The only thing that appears twice is 67, so the mode is 67. The mid-range is a matter of adding the lowest and the highest. So 33 plus 86 makes 119. Divided by 2 is 59.5. That is the mid-range. And the median, we're going to use this idea that the median will occur in this position. So that's 9 plus 1 over 2, which is 10 over 2, which tells me the median occurs in the 5th position. So from here, count 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The median is 65. I could also do my crossing off, cross off, cross off, cross off, and what's left right in the middle is 65.